guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back here with the third and penultimate part of my dreams for Monza, AC Monza, as a fan of Italian football generally, and also my shopping list for Monza. That's what I was going to say. Sorry. For those who might be watching on YouTube, hopefully I'll get some viewers, as I often say, but I hope I won't bore either those watching on Facebook or on YouTube. I hope I won't bore you to death either way. But on the thumbnail, obviously Facebook doesn't have a thumbnail as far as I'm aware. I messed up a bit because I wanted to get, I'm not sure if I can do it, right angle. Not very good at this. How do I do it? Okay, sorry about this. I'm still struggling to get it, but you can probably just about make out one of the cats. But I wanted to get the cats in the thumbnail. I thought it was so cute. They were like sleeping together. But as I mentioned in my previous videos, one of the cats wasn't very well yesterday. And I think he's eaten something that disagrees with him. Either it's a bit of plant or something that my mum bought, or unfortunately he's messed up her plants and he's probably made himself ill in the process, or apparently they eat bugs or things like that. Sometimes make them ill, someone told me. Luckily we had someone who's used to having cats, so they said it's quite worrying, but it's not as worrying as like you think it is or whatever. But basically that I'm going off topic, I know, but I'm just thinking if any cat lovers and animal lovers out there. But yeah, so that's the situation at the moment. I think he still looks a bit tired, so he's probably not completely recovered. Maybe he's just tired, but he's not quite back at his usual self yet. But hopefully he will be later, ASAP, preferably by before tomorrow. But he looks a bit shattered, but he doesn't seem as bad as he was yesterday anyway. So anyway, I just thought I'd give an update on that. So I know it's a bit off topic, but for those who like me love animals, I really wished I could have got them together in that thumbnail because they were so cute. Anyway, I'm trying to leave them be because they're trying to rest. But anyway, on to the topic at hand. These are ideas, plans, thoughts, visions, points, or whatever you want to call them. Number 21 to 30. Glad I didn't ironically forget, because it's 21 again. But anyway, here goes. So number 21. I would love for people to find out about the history of Monza and any facts, stats, or general figures or information about Monza, and as many people around the world as possible to find out about them. And hopefully that will increase. I hope with an increased fan base, it will somehow increase the finances the club can have, which hopefully will be put to great use in terms of buying better players and developing the academies. And I suppose that's what these videos are about, my dreams and shopping list for, like, I'll say Christmas shopping list, Dear Santa and all that kind of thing, for Italian football and Celtic, as from a selfish point of view, in this case obviously Monza. 22, on that note, hopefully in the future they'll be able to develop. Now I have a bit of a dilemma because I love all Italian teams as well as Celtic, so I'd love any Italian team to win like things in Europe and internationally. I hope AC Milan get back to the top again. I hope Inter Milan, maybe this season Inter Milan could win. It would be so cool if Inter Milan could win the Champions League and AC Milan could win the Europa League. I think they're in. Or they probably have to go through a playoff or something. But it'd be great if Inter Milan can win the Champions League, AC Milan could win the Europa League from the point of view of Italian football, and maybe Fiorentina could win the Conference League or something. That'd be so awesome for me as a fan of Italian football generally. That would make my new year or whatever. I think the trophies are given out in like March or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty awesome. It would make a great 2024, I think. If I could be grateful for such, which I think I should be. Poor kittens, they just be disturbed by me, but trying to sleep and all that. But yeah, so that would be pretty cool if they could get some sleep. But that would be pretty cool if Italian teams like I say, Fiorentina could win the Europa League or whatever, and AC Milan could win Fiorentina could win the Conference League, AC Milan could win the Europa League, and then Inter Milan win the Champions League. As a fan of Italian football generally, that would be pretty cool, and it'd be great for Italian football, Serie A and all that kind of thing. But in the future also, I hope teams like Monza to do as well as possible, become the best they can be to attract as much investment and that kind of thing. And number 23, I know I do repeat these points, so please forgive me. Sorry for repeating those points, but I think they are, well, for anyone who finds my repetition a bit boring, which probably most people do, but it is what these videos are about. So to remind myself and others what they're about, which is to attract investment towards Italian teams such as AC Milan and AC Monza and all possible Italian teams. I talked recently about how I'd love for sponsors to sponsor the league and the Coppa Italia and things like that, so that they can have as much prize money as possible, which could again go back into the clubs and hopefully be reinvested in as many improvements as possible, both short and long term. So buying better players and developing better young players, especially Italian ones, which I hope will benefit club and country. So I hope they'll get as much money as possible from all possible sources, and maybe even being as part, if they're part of Football for Good, hopefully FIFA, UEFA, and others will support them as well, and they can work with the FIFA Foundation, UEFA Foundation, and things like that. And also like women's refuge groups, they could condemn things like football hooliganism or general violence, domestic abuse, and things like that, and all sorts of things like that. So do a lot of good for the local community and the national community, and trying to make the world a better place. And I hope they'll benefit both on and off the pitch. Most importantly, I suppose, for the club is benefiting on the pitch through like trophies and things like that in the short and long term. So yeah, I hope they'll get as much investment as possible and utilise that as well as possible, and again benefit in the short and long term. It'd be interesting to see how much money they could get. And I nearly forgot this point, but I would love for like Monza, as it's Monza, like the as Formula One is often hosted in Monza, I would love for them to perhaps look at how they can have partnerships with Formula One, even though I'm not a racing fan myself, or I don't really follow any other sports that much. I think tennis is a bit cool to play, and many of the sports, even cricket, probably okay to play for a little bit, but I don't have a huge passion for those other sports. I'd say tennis is at least quite fast-paced, but I wouldn't spend a long time watching it or playing it. Whereas football, I could spend although if I had the energy, I could spend a long time playing it, or at least thinking about it and thinking about my ideas towards such. But yeah, how they could work with Formula One basically, and maybe even the fashion industry. AC Milan, especially working with the fashion industry, as Milan is like a fashion capital, and I see AC Milan as quite glamorous. On that note, Milan Mondays and all that kind of thing. Number 24, I would love for them to get as much investment as possible, I'll say, internationally, and even from local politicians, councillors and whatnot, the Italian government and whatnot, perhaps even investing in football, Calcio, just generally, and anywhere they can legally, I often mention this point, legally gain investment and develop good young Italian players. So hopefully that can benefit the national team and bring some pride back to Italian football, as I say, at club and country level, and possibly be co-owned by even entire countries like sovereign wealth funds, such as Malaysia, if I'm going on alliteration, but I'm not sure if I would want Malaysia to invest in AC Milan or Inter Milan or Monza. If they could invest in all three, I think that would be pretty cool. I would hope that Italian football would benefit from such, and I hope Malaysia would benefit, because it's one of my favourite countries as well. Malaysia, India, and places like that. But India and Indonesia, I would love to invest in Inter Milan. But if there are ways they could, like for instance, unofficially invest through different sort of names or whatever, as long as they do it legally and within the rules basically of football and international rules, and also sensibly and legally in it. Maybe they could do things like invest in academies or things like that, or like football development in Monza. So even if because the reason why I mention that is that there are rules where you can't invest in more than one team. So if they invested in AC Milan, they couldn't invest in Inter, Antwerp, or AC Monza. So, but there could be ways maybe where they could at least help to build football pitches in that area, which could hopefully benefit Monza in this case. Number 25, again, as much investment as possible. I normally try and think of these 40-point list videos, but I suppose some of them could be repeated, because I think if an idea is really important, if you like, not that I want to be self-important or anything like that, too narcissistic, as I say, but as I often say, but the main thing, as I say, if I summarised it in short, I would say for AC Monza in this case to get as much investment as possible, including through sponsorship deals and things like that. I suppose with sponsors it's a bit different because many different sponsors could invest in different football teams, whereas owners, it has to be, as far as I'm aware, I think that's the rules. I'm not 100% privy to the rules, but I think that's what the rules are. But again, as long as they do it legally, and if they could acquire that investment, I think that would be pretty cool. But as I say, all legal ways where they could make money and that be used. Most importantly, I think it would only be vanity to be owned by or co-owned by wealthy owners. For me as a fan, the more important thing really is that money would be put to good use for the club itself, so that they can win those trophies, both domestically and, for me, more importantly, in Europe and internationally, preferably, where I'd love to see Italian teams do well. And I hope that they can all get lots of funds. So also, I hope Italian teams, I know they have a rivalry, but I hope they can be proud of each other if and when they do well in Europe and internationally. Number 26, giving back. I hope the club will give back. Number 27, as part of that, I hope they'll have ways to honour and acknowledge those who invest in and just generally benefit the club, like those who help to coach the youth and whatever people might do or organisations might do to benefit the club. I hope they will get some sort of acknowledgement, or acknowledgements even in the plural. 28. So I hope that Monza can do, as I say, I hope they will mix up with the big boys and maybe in the future, the next 5 to 10 years, maybe even start winning trophies in Europe. If not Champions Leagues, at least things like Conference Leagues, Europa Leagues, and things like that, and maybe even Champions Leagues and World Club Cups and things like that. Number 29, I hope to see what my fellow mixed race people, especially yours, and in particular Anglo-Indians, can do to benefit Monza and also neurodiverse people. And number 30, as ever, I would love to read from and hear from Monza fans about what your dreams are for the club. Anywho, I'm out. Peace and love.